Okay, ladies, so find yourself a comfortable seated position and welcome in all the distractions. Some of you have children at home, partners at home. It's all a bit crazy, but we will do what we can, and looks like this may be the new norm for a while, so we'll have a few teething problems, but every week I think it will get smoother for all of us in our individual situations. And we'll tune in. So it's really important when we're going through these challenging times of a lot of change that we have something that's stable. And for us, it's our tribe and our mantras. So we'll tune in as we always do. We'll begin with the Shanti mantra, the peace mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu. Let's draw our hands symbolically or physically together. May we move easily in our studies together. May we relish with concentration and enthusiasm. May our studies be filled with understanding, leading to knowledge. May there be peace between us, so that we inspire peace within and around us.
May our practice uplift not only ourselves, but our families and our community. And we hope the whole world. So we're revisiting today base chakra, Muladhara. A particular word that's important here is Sangha. Base chakra says we are all one, we are all connected at that base level. Crown chakra also says we're connected, we're all one, but it's a different awareness by the time we've risen to the crown chakra. In base chakra, we're all one in humanity. We're all suffering the same way. We're all connected through our base consciousness, our fears. Crown chakra is different. We're connected in light. Hopefully by the time we've arisen there, we're all at that one level. And that's where humanity is seeking to go. Shivani and I thought it was really timely that we were in base chakra revision today, because the one lesson we're learning at the moment is how we are all intimately connected, and it's a time for global solidarity. The beauty of our technology is it does unite us as a tribe, and yet our universal law of divine oneness that we're revisiting today says we are all the same, but we're at different places. And what the opportunity we have at the moment is exactly that. We are all connected. We are all the same in terms of our body is the same. We're host to viruses. I don't like to say we're at war with the virus. We want to increase our immune system so that we can be at peace with the virus. Viruses, bacteria, pathogens will always exist.
And strengthen us. Part of our evolution as human beings. Without bacteria and viruses, we wouldn't build the immune system that we have.
Yes.
So we see this as a time of evolution. And one thing I found very interesting, very symbolic, is we're no longer recommended to handshake, because we know this is one way that the virus is spread quite quickly. And originally the handshake came from the ancient times to show that you didn't have a weapon, that you were free, you came in peace. And now that we don't have the handshake, you see leaders from all around the world, they're doing Anjali Mudra or Namaskara. Very interesting. And I noticed yesterday when I was walking, I went to deliver some toilet paper. Cronulla was very eerie. There weren't many people around. But the people I did pass, we were all really looking at each other with our eyes.
Looking for the eye contact, same.
Looking for the eye contact, because what we've found now, that our sense of security in society, in community, has been unraveled. And this is the lesson of Muladhara chakra as well. We need a sense of security to feel that we're in some kind of control of our lives. And that has been absolutely shattered over the last week. Our lifestyles have had to change. Our children, their lifestyles are now changed. So everything that we know, our workplaces, the way we interact with each other has been shattered. So we're now having to go back to the truth of what true security means. And for me, in my perspective, I feel that this is that which we cannot see. True security is something that you can never lose, something that is not impermanent. And that really is that deep sense of connection with your soul, with your source of life, with our bond as humanity. There is something within us individually and collectively that is at the heart of real security. And it's not the finances, it's not the fact that we have a home or that we can go out and do certain things, because these things are always changing. So I think what has happened in our world is actually, we're so blessed to have these teachings of yoga now to allow us to see things as they really are. So our true security is not that which we can lose. It is in our ability to understand that which we will always have, no matter the surrounding chaos. So who am I? I think that's the lesson of the first chakra too. Is who are we, right, as human beings?
Yes. When we're talking about our laws, the universal laws in spiritual philosophies, I know some of you have been in Sacred Circle where we've talked about the levels of consciousness. It has been in your notes, it's in this week, and it was, I think, also in the retreat notes. That our very first and base level of consciousness we call the survival level. Our second level of conscious is a fear level. It's a tribal level where we're afraid that if we do the wrong thing we'll be kicked out of the tribe. The third level is the Rambo level where I say, well, bugger everything else, I'm going to do it my way. Don't care. I'm out of the tribe, I'm doing my own thing. The fourth level is the level where we come together and we act with controls and rules and regulations. As I speak this, do you see the similarity between this very quick evolution of the C virus? We visited survival level, and our opportunity was to see who we were in response to that. Am I going to go into fear and rant and rave about it and protest and say it shouldn't happen and someone else should be responsible and they should have a drug for it?
And hoard.
Or hoard, yes, fight for toilet paper. And then we see the second level, that fear. Some of us did go into fear where we wanted everything to stop and shut down, and because we were afraid, and our behaviours of fear further impacted our immune system. And some people went the Rambo way, that said, I don't want to believe in this, I'm going to do it my way, let's soldier on, da-da-da. And some of us stepped into the fourth level where we said, let there be rules and regulations for the good of all, and I'm happy to work with that. Now, there's no right or wrong here, but our teachings, what Shivani and I are imparting to you, they're so useful in everyday life that if you're having a pain or a struggle, if you're suffering mentally or physically, emotionally, spiritually, you can go back to the laws, the philosophies that we're imparting and say, okay, which one am I forgetting? Which one am I forgetting? Our law of divine oneness goes with the base chakra and the crown chakra. But we have to visit it at the base level where we say, yes, we are all the same. We all have the same needs for water and fresh air and sunlight and love and connection and immune health. Yes, we have all the same needs. However, we are each evolved to a different level of consciousness here. Now, when the test comes, such as the C virus, and before that we had bushfires, and then we had floods, and then we had C virus, the test is, who am I in response to it? It's not about whether you get sick or not. It's not about whether you go to survival level or fear level or Rambo level or you jump straight to, I'm going to go with the rules and regulations. It's not about that. It's about your acceptance of what's coming up for you and being at peace with, okay, I'm in fear right now, that's okay.
Recognizing
where you are. one of our beautiful songs that's been suggested for you by Fia, All That Is, and I've got the words in your notes. It's about if we soldier on only choosing to be in the light and disregard the dark, we're only half living. We're halfway there. Yeah. So our work is to embody both. It's not an easy path to sit with the dark and the light, particularly when we're seeing the dark in others and we want to have criticism of where they're at or what they're doing. But a lot of our role models in terms of the celebrities or musicians that have got the C virus, and they're on there posting the most beautiful things about being at peace with it, and they're offering beautiful songs, or they're offering words of wisdom. I think yoga is in all of us. It's just that by studying yoga and sitting with Shivani and I and breaking it down into repeatable tools, we absolutely know that we can reapply these learnings in any situation. It's not a hit or miss science.
Yeah, and I think it is in your notes, and we covered it during the first week as well in relation to first chakra Muladhara, was we're working with the glacier of avidya, which is ignorance. So vidya means wisdom that has been acquired or discerned through visceral practice of a body and mind connection. So what we're seeing play out in the world at large, in our communities, and maybe even in our homes, is the fear response based around a certain kind of ignorance. On one level, some people think they're invincible to this, and they're not willing to read the reports or see the testimonial videos by people our age who have succumbed to this virus. So a lot of people think they're invisible and will carry on life as usual. Some of us have gone into that fear response where we're being overwhelmed with information, we can't get enough information, we can't concentrate, we feel like we've lost our base. So vidya, the Sanskrit word vidya, of wisdom, is asking us now to practice this body and mind connection through the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga to understand exactly who we are. And I think on a more philosophical level, what I've been really working with this week is going back to my core life choices about who I am. Because I think that if we recognize that most of these viruses that threaten humanity in a dark way have come from ignorance about our Mother Earth. So we create destruction in the world that affects the animals of the earth. Different animals affect each other. And then we have the mass slaughtering and consumption of animals, which is what has led to the C virus.
And taken out of their natural habitat and put in hot, humid, smelly little cages. Like, we have been so out of balance as a humanity.
Complete ignorance that we are one, not just with each other, but with the animals,
with the earth,
and with Mother Earth.
Yes.
And that winds back to the other key philosophy that we work with in first chakra and in the beginning of all yoga, whether it's a class or a discussion, and that is ahimsa, so loving kindness. So I think these are the themes that we're working with as we move through pranayama and asana and meditation today. So wisdom, vidya, who are we in relation to the challenges that we're facing, in relation to the reason that we're here on this earth at this time? And can we see this through the lens of love, through loving kindness? So ahimsa and avidya, these are the 2 key Sanskrit words that I think are really good to go back through your week 1 notes and to make sense of them from your own perspective. Yeah, really important, because I feel like these are the 2 concepts that are helping me to stay calm.
Yes.
And what I feel, there's so much overwhelming information, but I feel quite calm because of these 2 concepts.
Yes, exactly, Shivani. And I think everyone in our SYAMA 2020 is so on board with the gift that our yoga training is, and you become then a gift to your children, your family, your community, your society. So each one of you is a little light going out there for your community. Yama, ahimsa, loving kindness, the loving kind act that we made by closing the yoga studio, by doing online, and in so many ways we know you're all doing loving kindness acts in your family and community. Brahmacharya we're revisiting. We didn't do it in the first week, but it's useful to bring it in now, that moderation of our energies. So we know that we've been out of balance as a humanity. We've been taking more than we've been giving. There's been an imbalance in the energies on the planet where greed and corporations and politicians and, all the people who have the power have been taking either for their own glory or for money or for power and destroying the earth. And in a way, taking from us as responsible citizens. They've taken away our power to be responsible for ourselves by making us fear and telling us we need vaccinations and we need pills and we need laws that make no sense to us. Giving power to people to create pillage of the earth. So there has been an imbalance. Maybe not in you and I particularly, but as part of our gift to humanity, we're all stepping back now and stopping taking. And we're starting to give in ways that we haven't had time to give before. So this is brahmacharya, the balancing of, instead of going outside the home, looking for stimulation or connection or avoidance of what's at home, we're being asked to stay at home and balance our energies, get more sleep, spend more time with your children, spend more time doing nothing, spend more time out in nature with no purpose other than to breathe clean, fresh air. So brahmacharya is very important at the moment in terms of resetting the global consciousness. We're standing at a point now where it's possible after all of this to not pick up the habits that existed before. So what we're looking for, I have a great prayer for this, we haven't seen global leaders step together with a plan forward for humanity that's not based on fear. They have a plan for humanity that's based on external things like wash your hands and stay at home so you don't spread. And they're throwing money at the economy thinking this is going to alleviate the problems. We know that it won't. We know that there has to be, now we move on to the niyama of soka or socha, there has to be a purity from the inside, not just from the outside. We have to become pure and simple in what's going on with our thoughts and emotions, no longer seeking constant instant gratification as we've been able to do in the West. We're being asked to simplify and purify our lives and hopefully carry that forward when the crisis is over. It's a critical time now to stop, but it's going to be a critical time when everything is declared over. What habits are we going to take into the future? I pray that by then we do have leadership that is going to continue on with this idea of self-responsibility, making decisions that are right for ourselves and not having external authority thrust on us that we're not able to do the things that we know are right for the community. I know all of us would, in a heartbeat, stop the rape and pillage of the earth, but we don't have that power individually. So what we're looking for is a global consciousness that emerges from this and global leaders that are in alignment that we are one. Yes, we have to live in small individual communities, but we have to think globally. A beautiful example of divine law of oneness and base chakra. We are one on this earth. We are Sangha. The thoughts and feelings of actions of every one person affects the entire community. So the last one to look at, the niyama of Ishvara Pranidhana, is that total trust and surrender. If I get sick and die, that's perfect. If I get sick and don't die, that's perfect. If I'm simply stuck at home and missing my hugs with my loved ones, that's perfect. Whatever is in front of my life right now, I surrender to the greater good, because I have absolute trust. And I trust that there's more to this existence in this body, more for this existence than I am capable with my small pea brain, monkey mind, of understanding. And that's where our faith, that's the now crown chakra, surrender, letting go.
Gail's got a beautiful way of expressing the philosophy. And then maybe because I'm a bit more crude, I want to draw that now into our personal practice at home. Because I think the only way now that we can do what Gail says we're able to do is through awareness. And that comes from brahmacharya. So when we slow everything down, when we go within, we start to have a deeper awareness of what is really going on. So on the most practical level in our everyday practice as yoginis, it is the physical practice of asana, pranayama and mudra that gives us an awareness of what is going on within us. So it is only when we are not aware of the bigger picture and how we influence the bigger picture that we take the world into complete darkness and we're not able to rise up into the light. So I think it's so important that we recognize that the philosophy of yoga can only be lived through a visceral experience. Because we can sit here and talk beautifully about it, we can give you our notes and read it, but a big part of our practice in SYAMA is having that daily practice. Going through the limbs of yoga, getting into your body, using the breath, using the mudras to become extremely aware of who we are under different stimulations and different stresses. So I just wanted to bring that beautiful big picture back into what we can do daily. So sadhana, every day, stay connected to your personal practice, even if it's only for 5, 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah.
And in a little while, when we finish the talk, we'll be taking you through 2 practices, the Hatha practice and the Yin practice. So they'll be on here for you to practice every day. So taking our Gyan Mudra, usually done palm up, which means I'm open to the wisdom. I don't know what I don't know. I'm humble enough to know I don't know all the reasons or all the answers, so I'm asking to connect to that divine wisdom. We can turn the palms down, Chin Mudra, which is saying I'm now channeling that wisdom into my body. I've been open to receive it, and now I want to contain it for future use. We connect the index and thumb, and in the beginning we open the other 3 channels of fingers. They're just like little antenna channeling that wisdom in. And we connect thumb and index as a gesture of subjugating the ego. I want to make a complete circle here between my God self, my higher self, and my smaller self, my ego self. Sometimes we wind that index finger right back to the root of the thumb, and sometimes we just touch with the tip. But either way, it's symbolic of saying, I'm not going to let ego run the show, and I'm not going to be so arrogant as to think I can only be of the light. I am both. And I need to continually check, is ego needing a voice here? Or is ego running the show? Or is ego happy to just be silenced for a little while my higher self runs the show? We can't exist completely in one or the other. So this symbolizes the complete circle, the perfection, the imperfect perfection. Our second mudra, Anjali mudra, sealing the practice when we take it at the end of class, bringing our attention to the heart center, offering our yoga to ourselves. We may use it as an offering myself to you, and it also symbolizes namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you, and I know that that divine is of the dark and of the light. We can say namaste with the hands at the lips, which say I honor you with my words. Namaste with the hands at the forehead center. I honor you with my thoughts. And namaste with the hands at the heart center. I honor you with my actions, with all of me.
Namaskara is another term that you'll often hear people in India say as well instead of namaste. When we do namaste, it's called namaskar, which means salutation. So bowing to the light and darkness within each other and to the higher force. So Ishvara Pranidhanam is in this as well. It's like a bowing down of we're humble to life. So.
And Adi Mudra is our last one, where we take the thumb inside. It's the primal mudra, it's what you see babies do. And when we sit the Adi Mudra at a certain part of our body, it generates that primal life energy to that part of our body. The Tarzan. We have another little mudra where we take those fists into the belly and bow forward. We've done it a lot in my class. I love this one where we take the arms up and we draw the elbows down, exhaling. So we're exercising our lymphatic system. We're taking that which is above down into our body. Many, many ways we can use our Adi Mudra. We can do it this way in our Sun Goddess pose, where we're in high squats.
We feel strong.
Yes. I sometimes get you to do it in a warrior pose, where we take the warrior and we have a look at the enemy to either side. So Adi Mudra can be used in many ways. Moving on to our mantras, we have LAM, L-A-M. We've got O, which connects you to the earth chakra. We've got Loka, Samasta, Sukhinu, Bhavantu. And we've already covered the klesha of avidya, our ignorance, coming into wisdom.
Do you remember some of these things from 7 weeks ago? I'm wondering.
Is it familiar?
Yeah, does it sound familiar? And I think even after 20 years, 40 years, every time we revisit them, it feels fresh. But we hope that where this revision, the repetition, starts to have a layering effect, and that you can feel these things for yourself and then be able to express them. One pop-up homework I'd love to give you is for you to be able to explain in your own words why we do Chin Mudra or Gyan Mudra. You may get a lot of questions from students, beginning students. Excuse me, why do we do this? So can you explain in 1 or 2 sentences why we do this at the beginning and the end of a yoga class? Yeah? And also Anjali Mudra. Why do we do this? And are you able to explain it in a way that doesn't offend or exclude anybody? Sometimes the use of the word prayer can give people a misunderstanding, avidya. They don't understand that yoga is for all. It's not a religion. We're not praying to a god or a goddess that is outside of us. It's actually an energy within us that we're humbling, bowing down to, and also, of course, that force of life. Yeah. So, Chin Mudra and Anjali Mudra. Can you explain these 2 mudras in very simple terms, 1 or 2 sentences? Homework. Is that okay?
Yes.
Good.
Perfect. Okay, now before we move to the mat to go through our hatha class, basic breathing that you might start teaching in your class is the belly breathing. So hands on the belly. We take that breath in that lowers the diaphragm, because when we're under stress and anxiety, the diaphragm gets drawn in. We go into this high chest tension, and often the belly is drawn in because we're not able to let go of that fear or flight thing. So simple belly breathing. Inhale, feel the space in your belly. Exhale, gently drawing navel to spine. Inhale, allow the belly to soften, and exhale, a slight contraction around the navel. You could do it with a block laying on your back.
Yeah, do it with a block. So perhaps for your children too, they're studying to recognize something big is happening at night. If they're feeling a bit anxious, or even your big children, the adults in your home, you can put a block or a book, relatively heavy book on the belly. Of course, you don't do this if we're pregnant or if we had recent surgery or menstruating, but this can be another way to train ourselves to come into this deep belly breath, diaphragmatic breath. You'll find beginning yoga students, people that have never done yoga, find it extremely difficult to do this. What we think is quite simple is actually quite difficult. So remember that you have these tools to use as well.
The simple belly breathing.
I think what's really important in recoding your sense of security and who you are in all this is your ability to express it somehow. So as Gail and I are talking here, we are tending and befriending, and this is how we as females are able to feel secure, are able to trust each other, and to feel at home. So what we recognize is that you're all there behind your phones and computers, typing to us, but it's not the same as verbally expressing how you're feeling. And we deeply want to know, we want to be able to recreate our sacred circle. So before you forget, I'll just mention that Gail and I are going to offer 2 sacred circles a week along with this Facebook live stream workshop. And we'll do that through the application. Yes. You'll all be there. You'll be able to see your faces up on the screen, and you'll each be able to have a chance to share from your heart about what's going on in your own lives. And we'll be able to recreate the sacred circle that we have in the studio. So as you're listening to us, maybe you're feeling certain things, but I know that as I'm speaking with you and with Gail, I'm feeling so much more relaxed myself, because I can express myself. So tending and befriending through verbal communication is one of the most important things that we as females need through this crisis. You might recognize that the men in your life, whether they're boys or whether they're your partners or fathers, men, the way that they tend and befriend is usually to go into their cave, and they will make sense of things on their own, and then perhaps have a one-on-one conversation with a close male or female friend, and that's it. What science shows is that for us as women, in order to feel secure, in order to feel a sense of trust, we need the tribe. We need the sacred circle more than anything. So I just wanted to add that in there, because I can feel so much love from Gail, and I feel myself sinking in, making more sense, reframing my experience of this, because I have you to hear me. You're witnessing me.
Yes.
So we would like to share that and have that opportunity for you all as well. Taking a moment to dedicating this practice to yourself, to your family, and friends and community, and to especially those who are working at the forefront of this challenge that we face, and those that are not well. May our class, our workshop be for the benefit of all beings. Om Shanti.